Good evening, fellow survivors. Welcome to this week's episode of SurvivorsCircle. I hope everybody's doing fine. We're looking pretty good here. I kind of hope that Maria's having some technical difficulties and she will be able to join us in a few minutes. I had something happen to me today. We had a special election, special vote. And the special vote in the state of Ohio, and there's Maria. How are you today, dear? You made it. That's the main thing. We can't hear you yet, but you made it.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna have to switch to the telephone because the internet's worse than what it's ever been before.
Okay. I'll just entertain the troops with my story of the day.
Okay. I'll be back. I'll be on my phone.
Okay. But so what happened with me was we had a special vote today. It was for a variance on a constitutional amendment, making it require 88 counties to vote within a certain shortened specified, for a petition. Okay. Each of the 88 counties had to send in the requisite number of signed petitions. And they shortened the time. They will, if it passes, it will shorten the time available to do that. It also would require a 60% vote in the legislative houses in order to become a law. At this time, anything over 50% wins. It goes through. So it's basically simple democracy, and they're changing it to something else. So the particular bill has been advertised as everything from soup to nuts, and I think it's a bad deal, but hey, that's just me. That's not the important thing that happened today. When I went to vote, there were, and this is a small precinct, and I went in the middle of the day, so it wasn't too crowded, but I saw two people whose signatures were challenged. And they had to go back to the tablet and try to sign in again. I thought that's kind of weird. See, they weren't able to do that before. You show your ID, you match the ID matches your address, that's your voting address, and that they and the address on their records, and you were good. Now the signature has to be verified. I wondered where they got the signatures to be verified. Number one, because the last voter registration that I signed was probably 40 years ago. I very much doubt that my signature is going to be an exact match to that. And while I was waiting, I saw that the DMV, the signature matches the signature on my driver's license. the signature that they had at the voter registration on file matches mine. That signature was written basically on a table with a ballpoint pen. My finger on an electronic tablet is in no way going to create an identifiable fingerprint, an identifiable signature. So I watched two people get asked politely to, oh, please do your signature again. Oh, that you could, please do it one more time. And I thought, okay. So I went up and I thought, let's see if we can get this one. And showed my ID. Made two entirely illegible smudges on the tablet. And she looked at me and said, that's fine, thank you. But I stayed. I thought, what the hell? Because since they started this, anyone who signs something can be challenged. I have bad days when I would my signature probably wouldn't even come close to matching what they have on file. If that's all it takes to disenfranchise me, was this person a professional calligraphy reader? Okay. No. But that person, because it just didn't look right. How did she know? She gave two people a bit of a hard time. And they were, it wasn't so much that they were, but they could have lost their right to vote right there. They would have been put on a provisional ballot. And for those that aren't aware what a provisional ballot works like in the United States, if you want to make sure that your provisional ballot is counted, you have to go to your county board of electors within a week with your full ID. So basically, you'd have to take a day off work, drive 30, 40, 50, 70 miles in some areas of the country to personally have your vote validated, and then it would get caught up in the count or the corrected count. I have had no one in my lifetime of experience has ever gone to that extent. Okay? Because no one ever gets turned down. You walk in with your ID or whatever else you you walk in with your ID, you do your thing, and you go home. It's always been that flawlessly trouble-free. I have no memory of anyone in this state ever having turned in an illegal vote or attempting to make an illegal vote. All this new addition adds is anyone who votes can be challenged, because it's never going to be a perfect 100% photographic overlay match from one signature to the other. It's not. It's never. It's not. It's not. The system isn't designed to do that, to look at things that closely. Even if the technology that was at hand were capable of doing it. So it's just whether the person sitting on the other side of that desk thinks you should look like you should be qualified to vote, or it could simply be whether you have a D or an R behind your name, because the vote registrars do know what party you're voting for. So what's the possibilities of abuse of that system just blows my mind. And I don't know. I have no idea what I'm going to do about it, other than complain and raise hell. But I knew it. I knew when they passed this changes in rules. I knew it was going to happen. I knew it was coming here. They're going to clean off the voter rolls. Anybody that has a name that's a little suspect is going to be tossed off the voter rolls. Oh, you have the same name as someone that lives 2 states away. Well, yes, my name is John Smith. There are quite a few John Smiths in the United States, or just pick one, but we know what they'll be selecting for. The same as they selected for in Kansas, the same as they selected for in Georgia. If it sounds like a black name, it gets stricken from the rolls. That's all there is to it. It's illegal on the face of it. It's outrageous in the way that they're doing it. So, well, and I really, really, really never expected I just didn't think it was going to happen here.
Well, no, I made the comment, the DMV, they can check your signature.
Yes. But they have a shared, I'm sure they're in a shared database.
Well, now I'm going to tell you the way that I normally sign my name and
Mm-hmm.
what it looks like on my driver's license will never be the same.
No.
Because when I signed for it, they didn't have the pen.
Mm-hmm.
You'd do it with your finger in a spot that's about this big.
Okay. For your driver's license.
Yes.
Okay.
So there's no longer the pen that does it, an ink pen, or just, I mean, I can go get my driver's license and show you what the signature looks like, because it's okay. In comparison, it's the same way that you sign for a package. They hand you the tablet.
Yes.
A screen that's about this big, and you're supposed to, with your finger.
Yeah.
No.
How is that a valid identifier?
That's what I'm getting at. Those signatures can be challenged, because if you look at my driver's license and how I normally sign,
give me the purple ink. Okay,
mm-hmm.
Give me the purple ink and a goddamn paper ballot.
Sorry.
Okay, take a blood test. I don't care, but damn it, you cannot turn my voting rights over to someone sitting on the other side of that table to steal my vote.
Mm-hmm.
I just didn't like the way he looked, because the two people who were ahead of me that had to sign again and again.
Mm-hmm. The best I can do,
and I intentionally blotched mine to the point where there was nothing recognizable on that tablet.
The best I can do is call the bank and say, send over just email me a copy of my signature card, and that will match my signature anywhere.
Yeah.
But on my driver's
I
license, forget it.
yeah. Yeah. Well, actually, I don't know. I've got my, where did I put it? It's right here. My driver's license photo. It's from the old style, I think. The paper. Yes. That's pretty. It's pretty legible. But you know, you're right. You know, that is not. Nope. This is not. That's not the signature they had. But the signature they had was obviously done with ballpoint.
Holy shit! That reminds me. I do need to go to the courthouse because I took back my maiden name and I've not changed my registration. So it will
Oh.
still come up as Duff, even though I've had
Yep.
driver's license. I went through the courthouse and where somebody had the judge
Right.
had to prove my name change, but
Yes. That's true.
guess I better make a trip down to the courthouse on Saturday. Our courthouse here closes half day on Thursday, and so they're open half day on Saturday. So,
Well, that's good.
Mhm.
I mean, it doesn't. If there was any indicator anywhere in the United States, okay, that there was a marginal number of illegal votes cast, okay,
Mhm.
they found like 10 in Pennsylvania somewhere. And I think those were mail-in ballots that got ditched in a ravine somewhere.
Mhm.
So I mean, it's not like they actually made it through the count, but they were a valid voter. They were a valid filled out ballot that had been tossed in the ravine or whatever. That
Shit,
was the
they've been
biggest.
doing
That
for
was the
years.
biggest catch that was found anywhere.
They've been doing that shit for years, but all of a
Yeah,
sudden now it's a big deal.
I don't see. I keep thinking. Okay, I'm a conspiracy guy. What can I say? You know, if you challenge a person's or a group of people, okay, I'm gonna change gears here. In 1938, in Germany,
Mhm.
they didn't walk in and start loading people on the trains. Okay, they walked in and said, "Oh, just wear a little yellow flower. That way we'll know who you are and you can be protected." Okay. I don't want to. I won't wear a yellow flower. Okay,
Mhm.
for anybody for any reason because I know where it goes. It always goes. It goes from one thing, and there is once you've hit that slope,
Mhm.
there's only one conclusion. Okay, it gets worse.
Mhm. Mhm.
I just can't countenance that.
I've thrown Yuffie's comment up here because
Mhm.
it showed up in StreamYard, but YouTube didn't let it come through because I'm comparing the comments, and
Mhm.
V put this on here, then Ufi put that there, and then this was Venus's next comment. And on YouTube, this comment has been removed. It is not there.
Oh well, goodness gracious. Okay.
Yeah. So yes,
Yes.
I've got YouTube
The
on the
intent. The
phone.
intention. Okay. The intention. The original intention was to call in the military on
Mhm.
on January. Not even on January 6th. It would have been before January 6th. to seize the voting machines.
Now, are you talking about now or then?
I'm talking about 1920.
Okay.
Oh no!
Okay.
Wait. After the 2020 election. Okay.
But I'll bring this comment back up later.
There was a letter that was sent, a public letter that was published by 10 of the ex-Joint Chiefs of the military services, who all signed it, who simply reminded those military personnel and officers that their oath was not to a person, but to the Constitution and to the law. So I guess that shut down that idea. Okay. So they knew they couldn't come in and seize the voting machines. They had to figure out quickly another way to do it. And I am so grateful that whole episode came off as cleanly as it did, because I sat here with my heart in my mouth watching what went down on January 6th, and I seriously expected massive gunfire at any moment. You know, and it didn't happen. And I give those heroes that stood at their posts and took the beating on January 6th to allow the representatives to hide. I give them all the credit in the world, because I know I couldn't have done it. I mean, in my youngest years, I couldn't have done it. No way. There's no way that I would have done that. I mean, obviously they are far better trained and far better people to be doing that job than me, you know. But because I expected a bloodbath, and really, if there had been a bloodbath, Trump had troops waiting in Virginia to come across the border that were armed, you know.
But why didn't anybody else have the National Guard out? That's where
because Trump and the National and Austin, the acting Secretary of Defense, had ordered them to the ring to run traffic duty with no equipment.
But what about Pelosi and everybody else?
Pelosi was not in that chain of command at all.
She's the Speaker of the House. If she wanted,
she's still not in the military chain of command.
No, but I mean, if she's
not in the chain of command for the Capitol Police.
But you can't tell me that if they thought that there was going to be danger, that this was going to come on, somebody's not going to protect our Capitol. Do you hear
that is why they sent the National Guards to guard the parking lots on the ring.
Okay.
There were no National Guards.
That's so silly.
Downtown.
That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life.
Absolutely.
Think about this. Okay. So had this been all right. So if we would have had a international threat, somebody was gonna, I'm not gonna pick Russia.
A bunch of jihadis decided to parachute
China.
Yeah, whatever.
Said, okay, we are going to bomb the Capitol that day.
Yeah.
All right. So they're going to be there. Do you hear how dumb this sounds? If you have an inkling that you're going to be threatened in any way, shape, or form, there's not one person in that freaking Capitol that can protect it. That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life.
The Capitol Police and the
What did
National
you
Park Service.
And so
That was all we had.
they were letting people in. That's the stupidest thing. That's the dumbest thing. You're going to bring up these little metal gates and you're going to set it out there and you're going to go, oh, this is going to hold
those were crowd control gates. Yes, bicycle racks.
Okay, they're 3 feet tall. This is what I'm getting at. This is what I'm getting at.
Yes.
If you think that your capital is going to be infiltrated, and it doesn't matter if it's American citizens, which we own that house, just saying.
Okay.
Or if it was a Chinese army that is standing out there and they start marching in, you've got the Capitol Police and 3 feet of this mobile metal gate. I'm sorry. I'm conspiracy way deep. That's the biggest amount of bullshit I've ever heard in my life. If you thought that you were going to have 5,000 people that were going to march into the Capitol and you're going to have metal gates and 100 Capitol Police? No, I'm sorry. I don't buy this shit. It was all done by design. It was all done to send everybody in America. I don't care if you're what party you are or if you're even party. It was all done to make everybody so mad they can't see straight. And it worked. And it's still working. Let's go back to George Floyd. We've got all this crap. They do everything they can do to separate us.
So you're saying that this
brought us together for a little while.
So you're saying this was Nancy Pelosi's
No, sir, I didn't say that
idea?
I didn't say that at all.
To do this?
I didn't.
It was the FBI, the CIA, and who else?
I'm saying, well, okay, put them all together. Put every damn one of them. You put Trump, you put Pelosi, whoever. And even if it's not them, it was the elite that we always talk about that controls the narrative on everything.
Who paid for the buses?
Maybe nobody had any of that.
Who paid the money? Let's trace what we can track. Okay?
That you know about.
That we know about. Well, I mean, somebody got they didn't just transport in by Star Trek, They rode into town on buses. Who paid for the buses?
Who pays for the illegals to go from Mexico to New York? Who pays for those buses?
Well, as it turns out, Abbott is going to end up having to pay for those buses.
Majority of them, yes. Yeah. But
yeah.
what I'm getting at.
But there
they
were
can show that.
There
but
were
what
conservative
I'm saying,
political action committees, one of which was the main operator was the wife of the Supreme Court justice, who paid for the majority of those buses.
Okay.
Something like $10 million for those
That's
buses.
What I'm getting at. You can follow the money everywhere you want to go because it's going to come from every direction. It's not going to be just one. It's going to come from every direction because all they want to do is divide and conquer. If you divide us, they can conquer us. If all of America is together, the people would defeat the government. But if you divide the people, they're going to pick their party, and then
or as long as we're confused, we're frozen and we'll do nothing.
Ta-da! And it's fucking working. So here we go. We've got the Trump indictments. We've got the Biden crime family. We've got the UFO committee. We've got the submarine that blew up that they purposely screwed with everybody in that media thing. But that's what I'm getting at. Yeah. So here we sit here, and it's a constant bitch fest.
Well,
across
it's like,
the area.
okay, floating razor wire and down the middle of the Rio Grande. What's that for? That's just for show. That's just for show business. Okay. 300 yards of razor wire on the Rio Grande. It's a photo op.
Yes.
It's not like they can't it's not like they can't walk, half a mile down the road and go across unmolested, because everybody's up there watching the boys,
So
trying
it's
to
the
keep
same thing about
the coyotes out of the razor wire.
No, and it was the same thing with the horse whip. All of that stuff.
I know. I still have a problem with the horse whip.
I don't. I do not have a problem with the horse whip. I'm gonna tell you something. If I'm on the horse,
riding the brush in Texas or Arizona or wherever is not a good place to be riding with dress reins.
If I'm riding a horse and somebody comes after me on my horse,
yeah,
I'm going to protect my horse and I'm going to beat the shit out of you. Period. I'm going to protect my horse. It's the same thing if somebody walked up on my back porch trying to break into my house. Dude, you're going to meet something on the other side of that door you're never going to walk away from.
Yeah.
That's what I'm getting at. So they put this stuff out here, and that's all they've done since George Bush before.
Oh, wait.
W2. Let's divide. Let's piss the American people off. Let's put this out here. Let's do this. Let's do 9/11. Oh, everybody's unified. Let's go attack somebody else, and let's go bomb a country. We have no idea why we're bombing them, but we're going to do it.
We've been pretty severely. We were pretty severely divided before that, but we're definitely just divided after 1953, 1954.
I don't know, but now it's where it's out there in your face. That was before social media. I'm talking about now.
Sure.
And it's you can find any story you want to find anywhere on the internet.
But they aren't all true.
Exactly. But
they don't all fit.
You're not the one that's going out and doing the research to find out if it's true. What I'm going to compare it to is everybody that'll find a scripture in the Bible to back up their belief. But they didn't post the 3 chapters below it and the 5 above it. That totally makes that untrue. That's what's happening with our social media and our internet.
Here's the thing. When COVID started, okay, and it hit New York pretty bad, and they were saying, "Well, it's not real. It's not not causing any real problems, And they said, "Well, we have overflow, and we're bringing in freezer tractor trailers to keep the bodies in." Okay. And they had pictures. Okay.
Were those real?
One of the things that, do you ever think in a city of almost 10 million people, how many people die on a normal day? Just a normal everyday, not a crisis, not a flood, not a catastrophe, just your average, ordinary day in the life of the city of New York.
Correct. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. And I mean, my back of the envelope figures came up with about 1,500 every day. Yeah.
City that size, that's normal.
Yeah. So, but and the thing is, if you want to balloon that figure up, okay, how many people would you have to convince to be in on the conspiracy to bugger up the figures. You'd have to have ambulance drivers, nurses, coroner's assistants, undertakers. They're all in on it.
I don't think
Nobody
so.
said,
I don't think
I
you
didn't
need
know.
that many people in it. I don't think you need that many people on it. They can't pronounce, nobody but doctors, coroners can pronounce somebody dead legally.
Coroner's assistants are also deputizable, shall we
Yes.
say. Okay. Yes.
So, okay. But now you
God,
also have to think about this. You have to think about this. There was money the more people that came into the hospital that was diagnosed with COVID, or the more people that died of COVID, as long as it was on that death certificate, the more money hospitals, cities, counties, states got from the federal government. Why the hell would you not claim a heart attack as a damn COVID? You're not going to do an autopsy.
Well, you see that. Okay. The whole thing is you watch the curves, the population curves and whatever. Okay. If a bunch of extra people, if you just changed from COVID to non-COVID,
Yeah.
forget about asking the question of what did they die of.
Mm-hmm.
Just go simply, how many died? Okay.
Correct.
And if you have a rise in the total deaths,
Mm-hmm. Yes, no.
then you need to find a reason for that rise.
And I'm not saying that.
Or if you look at the rise, or if you look at the numbers for heart attack deaths, and all of a sudden there's a big dip.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, something wrong there. Something happened. Something extraordinary happened there.
Nobody was going to.
One happened, but one happened, the other didn't.
Mm-hmm.
So something happened.
So okay, there was a whole bunch of people that died from COVID. I'm not saying that they didn't, but you take that extra 1,500 people that died of heart attack or whatever,
Just old age,
by bus, whatever.
Yeah.
Add that to your total every day. That's 1,500 more people. And then they were calling for all of these respirators or the ventilators and stuff.
Ventilators. Yeah.
Okay. That killed a shit ton of people. And when they realized that they made that mistake.
Yes, it did. It absolutely did.
Hear about that. Didn't hear about that.
The thing is, they didn't know. No. But every doctor that put somebody on a ventilator didn't do it knowing that it would kill them.
Correct. They did not.
Nobody knew what the proper best procedure was with this particular kind of
nobody knew how to treat
it. Nobody'd ever seen before.
Correct.
Okay. Mm-hmm. And it wasn't until probably March that a few smart researchers came in and said, stop putting these people on ventilators. You're killing them. You're destroying their lungs. Mm-hmm. Okay. This is more like a mountain climber's disease. Mm-hmm. Okay. Mm-hmm. If you put them on high pressure oxygen, it'll kill them. Mm-hmm. So treat it the same way that we treated this over here, and gently keep their blood oxygen up, and they'll be fine. They will have a chance to survive.
Correct.
You know? But I'm not gonna kick the National Health, NHI, or anybody for.
Oh, I will kick out. Yeah, them.
Well,
yeah,
there are people who have culpability in this stuff, but the greater proportion of the people in those jobs are just trying to do the damn best they can.
They were, and that was all they knew how to do because that's what they were told to do. But once they all figured it out,
Yeah.
This is killing everybody. It's not helping them. I mean, when you're told if you put a COVID patient on a ventilator, it's going to help them, and then it kills every one of them.
Yes.
Eventually, within the 10th one, you're going to go, you know what? Nope.
Well,
But the sad part about that too,
that was they were using a generic crash procedure.
Mhm.
If the vitals are this,
Mhm.
we do that.
Correct.
If the vitals go to this, then we do this other thing. If the vitals go to this, we sedate them and put them on a ventilator.
Mhm.
It's that it's point by point by point by what the blood oxygen level, the pulse level, the blood chemistry. Those are all in there, and that's in protocol that they were using have been using for years.
Well, it's like
Okay.
you treat the flu the way you've always treated the
Yes.
flu. You don't change it.
Correct.
But
Except this time they had to, and they did.
But and that's the bad part too. It was that just because certain things that were said about certain medications or how to treat something,
Mm-hmm.
now that's ridiculous. Seriously, it's ridiculous the way that was done, and because of this, whatever, there were 2 or 3 medications, I believe. Just because that came out of
The
one
first one that came out, and I can't think of. I'm drawing a blank on the name.
hydrochloroquine.
Hydrochloroquine. Yes.
Chloroquine, yes.
Yes. Didn't kill anybody. Well,
Nope.
if you drank
Oh my God, that was so
hydrochloroquine, that was if you drank a half a gallon of it from a swimming, that would
Oh no,
have
the bleach thing.
cleaned a 10,000
Me up.
gallon
I remember when
swimming
he
pool.
said that.
Yeah, you're gonna die. Okay.
Like, people
But
are so stupid.
It's an over-the-counter drug that has been used in ordinary people for 25 years. Okay.
Mhm.
And there were some.
Hang on, I'll be right back.
There were some indications that it might help in some cases. Okay. But the fact that number one, there wasn't enough on the shelf. Number two, there was no direct indication that it was any better than nothing. And number three, it wasn't, God help me, it wasn't the treatment that they wanted to trot out and walk away with wheelbarrows full of money.
Exactly. Because I know there's a girl that I worked with the chloroquine.
Mm-hmm.
Her husband, that was a prescription that he took every day.
Yes. I forget there was something rather ordinary.
Yeah, I think it's sold
the flies, not lupus, but oh God, the Colorado mosquito disease.
Lyme's disease?
No.
Oh no, that's tick. Sorry, I don't know. I don't remember that one.
Anyway, yeah, that's what it's a recurrent. It's a recurrent thing. You never get completely rid of it once it gets in your blood.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. What was that?
And it was a mosquito thing in Colorado?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was a mosquito thing. And it originally came from a mosquito. It was first detected 100 years ago in mosquitoes in Colorado.
Isn't that how?
Yes.
So, did it come from another country? Kind of like was shipped in from somewhere, maybe.
Probably.
Kind of like how we got fruit flies. And you look at the other medication, the ivermectin,
Yeah, the horse wormer. Yes.
yeah. Well, that's what the media kept calling it and making fun of everybody, but it's not. Yeah, it's used for that, but there's also a human version. So
Yes.
they were like, so that was something else between. Okay, there was two medications there that the doctors were shamed into not.
And there was a couple more. There was a couple more in the run up.
And I think one of the biggest things to me that pissed me off was that if you tested positive for COVID, they were absolutely not going to treat you. They were not going to treat your symptoms. They weren't going to help you. You were just going to have to get over it, like the common cold. But with the common cold, we have medication that we can treat our symptoms.
Mm-hmm.
So the first time that I got COVID, to me, it felt like the worst freaking sinus infection I have ever had in my life. And I went to the doctor and they said, "Do you think you had COVID?" And I said, "Is this a symptom?" And they said, "No." They told me no. So I said, if it's not a symptom, then we're not going to do a test. They gave me antibiotics for my sinus
because probably at that time there was a shortage of tests.
No.
Test strips available. Okay.
No, this is a whole freaking year later.
Okay.
Well, they had all kinds of tests. We even tested at work at that time. So we had plenty of tests. Same test. We used the same tests at work that the government sends out. So this is a whole year later. I asked, is this a symptom? No, that is not a symptom. Okay, well, let's don't do a test. And they're like, okay, fine. Sinus infection. Here's your antibiotics.
Yes.
So I go get my prescription filled to treat my sinus infection. Steroids, same thing they've always given me for sinus infection. If I if I get one.
Yep.
Go to work the next day, and they tested everybody that came in that day for COVID. Mine came in as flaming pink as it could come in. I mean, it was the brightest color of pink. I had COVID. So and this is a year later.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm getting at. So, had they tested me for COVID in the doctor's office, I would have not gotten the medication I need for the sinus infection. I would have just had to, they'd have just said, okay, fuck you, walk out the door. You're done. Live or die.
But shortly after the first run, say in June of 20, okay, that was what antibiotics and steroids and mild supplemental oxygen had become. By that point, that those three had become the standard of care for mild cases of COVID. It wasn't until after that, when the Omicron stepped in, that they said, no, it's better if we just give them nothing. Okay.
Because the first time I got it was 21 June, no, February, the end of January of 21 was when I got it.
Yes.
Okay. I had a horrible sinus infection, got my antibiotics, done. The second time I got it was this February and had absolutely no symptoms whatsoever.
Yeah.
Nothing. The funny part about it was they at that time they tested us every Monday when we came in to work. We all got tested. And okay, so I go into work at 7:30. I have to be at my desk at 7:30 in the morning. My testing time wasn't until 8:30. So at that point, I had been around however many people within an hour. So I get tested, go back to my desk, and it's 15, 20 minutes later. And it's like, how do you feel? I'm like, I feel fine. Well, you've got COVID. Go home. Are you sure? So that was on a Monday. Tuesday, I get a phone call, and it was like, well, when do you think that maybe you didn't feel good? If you tell me it was last Thursday, then it's 5 days CDC. So Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. Test today. If you're negative, you can come to work tomorrow. I was like, if you test negative this morning, you can come to work this afternoon. I go to my pharmacist. I get the same test that the government gives out to everybody that we have at work. I take it. I'm negative. But at this time, I'm like, you know what? I'm not driving an hour to work for. I'll see you all tomorrow morning.
Yep.
The next day, I took, and that's what they asked me to do, take a test the next morning. Took a test the next morning, and it was the slightest. I mean, it was like you had to hold it up to the sun to see that there might have been a little pink line.
Mm-hmm.
So then I call work, and I was like, I'm at Kroger. I'm in the Kroger parking lot. I'm taking one of their tests. I bought one there. I'm taking it. It comes up negative. I said, I'm coming to work. Go to work. They test me, and there's just this little bitty faint line. So the other test that I had with me, I took it. I took two more. The one the government issues, the one that I bought at Kroger. Kroger came up negative. Work came up negative.
Okay.
But they had already sent me home because the first test was positive. So it was a circle jerk at that point.
Yes.
So finally they were just like, freaking come to work and just stop. We're not going to do this anymore. And
I forget what those actually, those don't test for active virus. They test for, those strips test for like dead chunks of virus. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah. Well,
so
you
theoretically you could be completely cured and have no living virus in your system and still have 2 or 3 days of sweeping up. Okay. So
correct. Well, see, in my supervisor that year, he missed 2 weeks because he had absolutely no symptoms, but every time he tested, it came up positive.
Okay.
And he wasn't sick. He wasn't sick. His family wasn't sick. And he was home for 2 weeks, and nobody in his household nor him was sick. But every time he took that test, it came up positive. So,
but, yeah.
What
okay. You know what? Seriously, at this point, maybe he had something unusual that he had. You know, not COVID, not even related to it.
Well, it was something that looked like it. Otherwise, it wouldn't have. It wouldn't have.
Right. No. But he may have. It may be an antibody in his blood, in his system, from something he had 10 years ago.
Oh yeah.
But it happens to hit those proper keys on that little
like,
paper.
Don't shove it so far up your nose, dude. Just kind of hit the rim.
Yeah, you're testing my brain density.
Yeah. And I remember that when they first came out with it was like the flu test. They shoved it to touch the top of your brain, and then the COVID test got to where that it was just swipe your nose. And I used to get tickled where I work, the children that would come in, because we would have to test the whole family, and with the kids they have PTSD over this shit.
No doubt.
They really do.
No freaking doubt.
So it was like, and the parent, I would, and if the child didn't want to test, we didn't make them. We didn't do it. The adults, yes, you can do it. You're big boys and girls, you can do it. But these little kids, I would hand out. I was like, "Do you want to do your test?" And they'd look at me, and I was like, "Just act like you're picking your nose. You don't have to shove it up to your brain. You're not going to dig that far." They would get so tickled, and they would do the test, and I think a lot of that it just depends on how you handle it. Seriously, with kids,
Yes.
just pick your nose with this Q-tip. I'll be good with it. The bigger the booger you give me, the better off we are, and that always got a good laugh out of the kids.
Is this funny?
Like, dude, string it on out. It's good. Let's see how far we can stretch it before it pops. But anyway. But yeah,
I love kids.
They're great. They're great. I'm having a good time with my little grandbaby. She's 17 months old now.
Jeez.
When she learns her words and can talk, they're screwed. Because, I mean, she's talking now and nobody knows what she's saying. I was like, ooh.
Well, they'll just have to learn her language.
She's doing pretty good. And
she's doing fine.
Oh yeah.
They just have to learn.
Problem.
Oh my God.
But it's now these little kid videos are they're teaching, and they've been doing this for many, many years, but they teach these kids little bits of sign language.
Yes.
So I did get tickled at she was sitting in her high chair, had some food in front of her, and all of a sudden she does this, which means I'm done. I've had enough. And I'm like, people that if anybody has to babysit her and she does this and they don't know what it is, they're not going to pay attention to that because she can't say, I'm done. I'm through. I've had enough.
Yep.
And then there's other stuff she does that
I can remember. I remember when that first became popular.
I as a kid. When was that? Not 80s? Late 80s?
Probably late 80s, early 90s, something like that. I mean, it was right after they found Coco, the gorilla.
Maybe that was late 90s because my son was born in 94 and Barney didn't have sign language. Of course, he's a big dinosaur without fingers.
Yeah.
So
yep. But the point is, the kids took to it so remarkably well.
Yes.
And a lot of people, we all talk with our hands to a certain extent, right?
Oh, yes.
And the anthropologist said, before we were really talking real good, I bet you we were using sign language. Of course we were. Like, go over there, or ow. Use your fucking eyes.
Yeah, and then somewhere along this came about
there are some that are so universal that they have traveled over the entire world,
This and this.
Oh, there's this one and this one.
This one, yeah. Oh, yeah. Or that, yeah.
Yes. Oh, my God.
But,
yeah.
It's kind of fun. But, yeah, to watch, and I'm like, okay, Miss Rachel, and we had TV shows. We had Sesame Street. We had Electric Company. Sesame Street didn't teach sign language. They taught Spanish a lot of times. So we grew up with stuff like that. But, and it was on regular TV, antenna. God knows we didn't have cable back then. But now it's like you've got YouTube, and it's called Miss Rachel. And she's on YouTube. And she's like some kind of preschool teacher or something. and I guess started doing these videos, and now it's just like a big deal. And she has all these different characters, and she does her shows per age. So it's like she'll have a show for little bitty kids, and then she'll have a show for older kids. But I just, sign language, she goes through it. And that's the thing, too. It's like, I know a lot of people that sign also speak as they're signing. So that's something that's hard for me to think about doing, is to, when she's doing this, she's not saying anything. She's just giving you the signal because she can't talk.
Yeah.
But if we don't carry our children further with all the rest of the sign language and things like that, I think
that's because the soft palate hasn't formed. The geometry of the throat isn't quite right yet. It's not that she can hear. She hears the words just fine,
and she can't.
She's processing the words just fine.
Yeah.
It's just the equipment on the output side isn't up to the wavelength yet. That's
right.
all.
Yes, and it'll come there, but that's where. But see, it's like when they do their preschool stuff, they see all this stuff with sign language, but it's like when they're able to talk, they don't do videos past that unless you specifically teach them the American Sign Language to go along with what they're doing, and they forget. I remember at one time I knew the whole alphabet sign language. And it used to come on a lot of stuff like prizes, like Cracker Jack, or it was in your cereal box or something like that. Even the Morse code.
Oh, yeah.
I remember that. Yeah. You used to be able to get Morse code stuff.
Yep.
But all that's kind of fallen away to the wayside. And if you don't actively teach your child follow-up lessons on stuff like that, they're going to forget it.
People forget languages. People who are fluent in languages.
If you
that put them aside for 20 years, you come back and
yeah, you don't use it, you lose it.
Yes, you only got so much file space here.
Yeah,
you overwrite it and use it for something else. And it might be there, but you really got to dig for it.
Porn usually takes that over when you get older. You find porn.
Oh my God. That's
a whole different sign language on its own.
That just reminded me of something that popped up in my freaking YouTube feed this morning. The perils of personal plasticware. Oh my God. They're shedding all these terrible chemicals. Oh my God. That I had to worry about.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes.
Oh my God.
Always buy the best and make sure it's pure silicone. Okay.
Yeah. Please, let's do that. Andy's burning me up. I'm going to look at the pictures he's sending me, so Jesus. I might have to share some of this stuff. I don't know. Oh, Macho Man Randy Savage. That's always good.
Yeah, I'm going to share one for Ufi. I shared it. She mentioned it. So, yeah. On a video file. Duh. That is a.
There's one I have to show you later. But anyways, go ahead.
Okay. I'll probably get in trouble for sharing this one.
Yes, I love that one.
The cows in Barrow, Alaska were really busy this summer, I guess.
Yes, they
Yeah.
were. You got to eat.
And this is from 2020. These were the methane levels, and this is where it is now.
But it has
That's
nothing
a
to do
serious
with.
problem.
It has nothing to do with. Okay, so everybody looks at this and blames it on cows. Has nothing to
Well,
do with
no,
the volcanic activity that happens up there.
no. It has to do
Let's
with
not count that in.
it has to do with the water's getting warmer, and there are billions of tons of calthrates on the sea floor
Mhm.
in the Arctic.
And this was
Okay,
during the
and
summer.
once it gets warm, it starts turning back into gas, and it just bubbles up. It's basically pure methane.
Oh, okay. So that reminds me. I'm glad you said that. The Bermuda Triangle. Do you remember that theory of a lot of
Yes,
stuff? Yes. That's what
yes.
causes a lot of those ships to sink
I saw
because
that. I saw that where they had. I remember a place that they took a big tank and they put a
yes.
bubbler under it,
Hmm.
and they hit that thing with the bubble, and
Down it went.
that ship went down. Look at these because it's the boat floats by the displaced weight. Okay,
Right.
but if you have to displace because the air makes the density of the water less. If you have to displace more than the hull will support,
Hmm.
it goes to the bottom right now. And that there were ideas that there were natural calthrate eruptions
Hmm.
in the Bermuda Triangle in the shallow waters that could have caused that in some cases.
It's like we we live on a crust, the Earth's
Oh
crust
my God.
that moves,
Crust.
shifts.
I saw something today. Oh my God, there were 400 earthquakes in Yellow, Jellystone. Yeah.
Okay, and
Excuse me. Okay, how and just exactly how big were they?
well, okay, so
Yeah.
Kentucky had, and it was along the Madison County, Jared County, I think it is,
Mhm.
line, had a 2.3. You're not even going to feel it.
Yeah,
So it's
we
like,
had a we had a four we had a 4 point something here from a fracking well. I didn't
yes,
notice it. Neither did anybody else.
right, right. So
So,
yeah, that's the fun part. It's like I get so tickled at all this natural stuff that the earth does that has
oh my God.
always done. And they're
Mhm.
like, oh my God, greenhouse gases. Oh, tax your ass and let's stop it. Oh,
Yes,
sorry.
yes.
Sorry. It's not going to happen. But we're going to have, yeah.
Get a little propeller. Get a little propeller on the back of your cow. And every
Earth
few
it a little
cubic
bit better.
feet,
Well,
it'll click up another penny on the meter. Oh God, no, God knows.
no, and I do get tickled
Mm.
because, I mean, we have weather cycles. We've always had weather cycles back in 18.
Boy,
When did
I
they
hope
start?
this is just. I hope
1830
this is just.
something?
I absolutely hope this is just a bad one. I,
Well,
I
okay.
hope,
So,
like those curves all come together. You know,
mhm.
I can't wait for them all to come together at the same time, and we hit this explosion. Jackpot.
Well, it's like so Facebook, and that was
Yes.
this year, and I
Mhm.
2014, and I think Jimmy and I had been on a paranormal investigation somewhere, and it was in July. And on our way home, I took a picture of the temperature gauge in the truck. It was 54 degrees. It's in freaking July.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then we had that to happen again in August. This year, and in June, I know specifically, in July, we've had several 50 something degree nights.
Mm-hmm.
9 years later. So it's a freaking weather pattern. And yes, I understand it gives and does and whatever, but 9 years later, we got the same thing going on. So, but people have learned how to exploit that. It's our fault. Global warming's happened. Apparently, it's happening in the West. I remember several
Well,
summers here, and it's going to happen here again. We're going to have weeks of
mm-hmm.
90-degree days, and the heat index, because it is so freaking humid here.
Yeah.
I think Kentucky is the second most humid state.
Possibly.
Louisiana's the
Well,
first.
it's all those damn trees.
It's all them damn trees and lakes we got floating around here. But
Yeah.
anyway,
Yeah.
yeah. But
Well,
it's
no.
gonna
What
happen.
I can't remember is it makes sense to like your average ordinary tree puts like 1,000 gallons a day into the atmosphere. It's something like that. It's
Cut
an
that
amazing.
motherfucker down. It's putting oxygen out there.
Okay. Yes,
Stop
and
that.
oxygen. We like that. We can, but like the Amazon, if the Amazon weren't a rainforest, it
Mhm.
would be a desert. It's just
Like
that
it-
the trees are holding all that water. Okay.
Right.
And this tree lets it out and it goes over and it falls over here. And like that, and like that. For that weather system to travel across the Amazon, as for that water, one drop of water to travel, it might take a year.
Right.
To go
Sure.
50 times. But that's
But
50 times. So the effective water on the surface is 50 times
Mhm.
the incoming precipitation. Okay?
Mhm.
That's why it's a rainforest.
Mhm.
If it weren't for the trees, it would be a barren desert.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and I can't wait for the LiDAR that goes over
Oh my God.
the Amazon to come out, because there's going to be
All of
civilization
it.
that nobody ever
Yes.
knew anything about to come out.
Yes.
So yeah, I mean, it's the cycle that Earth goes through, and we just need to chill.
Oh, look.
But
I don't need the rainforest. I don't need that. I just love to see parts of Ohio with a detailed LiDAR scan.
oh, wouldn't that be great?
Because I know there's a lot of stuff out there that
Oh yeah.
has been forgotten about. Okay.
Well, and plus
It wasn't big enough. It wasn't important enough for somebody to make a big deal over,
Well,
but it's still there.
That's like people, the historical societies,
Mhm.
places like that. They have pictures of what your town looked like back in the day.
Yeah.
And and that's like down the road from here, there's this gorgeous house. And it wasn't historical enough to be
Mhm.
made a
Yes.
historical site, because there was way too much updating that had happened to this house
Mhm.
inside. So they kind of put a sign out there, and it was a house that was built after the Civil War.
Okay.
And they called it the Broadway House. I don't know the history of that. But it was absolutely gorgeous. Tornado come through and wiped it out. Gone.
Ooh.
Nothing left. And so now when you drive by there, you can see where somebody had the horseshoe asphalt the beginning and the end of a driveway, and now it's a cornfield. So and I've taken a million pictures of that house, and I never kept one of them.
Oh,
so
that's
it's
terrible.
like, that's us now.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like we don't think about history anymore, because we always take for granted that stuff's going to be there.
Exactly.
Always. So we're never going to take a picture of it, remember it, nothing.
Yeah.
So get you an app for Walgreens or whatever that prints your pictures out. And when you take a picture, print it out. Keep it.
Oh, my.
It would be beautiful. But yeah, I did at one time keep a picture of what the house looked like. It was sold. Mm-hmm. There was somebody that bought it, and he completely had it redone. New windows, roof, the landscaping, everything. And he was ready to, him and his family was ready to move into that house. I think it was a week later. The tornado come through. It was done. Tornado come through and wiped it out. And they couldn't go.
You're sure you hadn't checked that one out for a haunting of some sort?
You know what? I'm telling you, that house right there.
You probably should have.
Oh, every time I drove by it, I was like, there's something going on. Because that house had one owner for a long time. Mm-hmm. Then all of a sudden, that house changed hands 4 times in the last 10 years. And I was like, there's something going on. And I just need to drive up in the driveway, knock on the door, and say, "Hey, how are you? Y'all got some shit going on inside."
Yeah, those are hard to get your foot in the door sometimes, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Now, there were plenty of times I drove by it and I looked at the back of the house to see if there were vehicles there. And I was like, one of these days, I'm going to get the nerve to like pull up and say, "Your house is beautiful. Thank you for keeping it up." And then hopefully they wouldn't think I was weird and we'd go from there. But
yeah,
no, but it's absolutely gone. It's nothing but a cornfield now. But and it is funny when you drive down that road, it seems like it's a certain so many feet. Mm-hmm. There's family graveyards in these fields.
Yeah.
And there's one not too far from that surrounds it. So I would love to find the history that happened there, but there's no house, and I'm not going to stand in the middle of a cornfield and do it. Well, no, I would too. Who am I kidding? Get a recorder. Y'all gonna talk to me?
Yeah. Really. And send me a crop circle.
Mm-hmm. But send me a drone first that I can see that crop circle.
Right, exactly. I
have that. Uh-oh. Maria reminds me of that childhood playmate that would deliver a liquor bottle to me. Yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah. You're exactly.
Yeah, I'm thinking that too. Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to stir up trouble, but if I can like instigate it just a little bit,
yeah,
we're going to find it. We're going to have fun.
Don't scare the adventure away. Oh gosh.
Yeah, I'll make me a fire out here every once in a while, and I'll find me some Native American beats and play that. See what happens. I've had some interesting stuff to happen before, so.
Jeepers creepers.
Jeepers creepers, the cornfield with the scarecrow. What? Is that what you're talking about?
Oh yeah, that one. I remember that one too.
All right. Andy has sent me a whole bunch of stuff. So, oh my God, it just keeps
Please.
going.
Go
Jeez.
for it.
Okay, so I'm gonna put
Oh, wait a minute. I just realized Barrow, Alaska. What if they have sea cows?
you know they
Wal,
do.
walrus,
You know they
walrus.
do. Here we go.
Oh my
Ta-da.
God.
Put the star one. Okay. Marco says put the star one.
I'm
Star
reminded of
this one? No, that's that one. Oh,
no Darth Helmet, the first one
Mm,
from Space.
God, that's from
Not
Spaceball.
Star Wars. Spaceballs. Yes.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Uh huh. Yes.
Oh, here you go. Here's one.
I like that.
Yeah.
Andy's getting better. That's PG, man. Hmm.
The bad part is I can't see a lot because I'm blind. I'm old.
Uh
Oh, whoa. It's kind of, yeah, that one.
oh. Scared me.
Oh, there you go.
Yep.
Yeah, see, nobody cares. That was a good movie. I did like that one.
It's a lie. You're a liar. And that's enough to get me out. That's enough to get me to the boiling point. Yeah.
Oh, look, it's got an art pin.
Oh yeah.
Oh my God, that is
Nicely done.
perfect. What's this one? You know, the bad part is that I can't see what's going on. Happy Treason Day. Yes, thank you.
Yes.
I'm kind of wondering if we shouldn't just go back to that.
I don't know. They're not setting a very mature example lately.
That's true. I don't know what this is. Oh,
Hmm. Hmm. Well, you got to. He's got to make that dance just a little bit.
he
You know.
does. Oh my God, that's perfect.
Uh.
Oh my goodness. All right, we already saw that one. What's this one? Oh.
Oh God, yes. Hmm.
That did. I'm so glad they lost. But anyway,
Hmm.
perfect. Yeah.
Yes. Yes. I like that one.
Yeah. That's perfect. Yeah. Thanks, Andy.
Andy, well done. Well,
Mm. There you go. Earth is big
was
is huge,
100
bigger than KGR.
100,000, probably almost 101,000, 101,000 by now. I was shocked.
How many years did it take Ron to get to that?
Well, I think when Ron started getting excited when it tapped 50,000.
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
Oh yeah.
So I'm thinking that was sometime like 17, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm thinking 20, say 19, say 2020.
He said 8
It was
years on
it
Big
hit it hit. I think that was when it hit 70,000. I thought, yeah, this might amount to something. You know,
There you
and
go.
it hasn't been.
Mm-hmm.
It's getting up there. It's getting up there towards 10,000 hits a year.
Right.
That's damn special.
Good.
You
Yes.
know?
Oh yeah. So congratulations, Ron. We're proud of you. You've done very well.
That's it.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. And Andy has done amazing stuff for
Yes, he
Ron's
really has.
website, everything. Yeah. Andy's done amazing stuff. If it wasn't for Andy, there would be a lot of Earth that couldn't happen because
Oh,
I'm
God,
not. I can't do the stuff that Andy does. Thank God. But yeah. Kevin and I have talked about doing another playlist, but that's all we talk. We just talk about it. And we get home from work and we just pass out after that. So that's the bad part.
I know how that is.
Mm-hmm. Doesn't take long.
Somewhere, I tell you, now, I'm still, I'm the last, I don't know why it is, but like the last couple of months, I have just been dragging ass.
Mm-hmm.
But, and then it's lack of sleep.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like I can lay down, I can be tired, I go to sleep,
Mm-hmm.
and I wake up 2 hours later, wide awake.
Right.
And then I'm another hour and a half getting back to sleep.
Mm-hmm.
That does, I'm gonna have to try something for that thing. I guess we'll see what happens. Because I've tried about everything I can think of.
Now that one stuff that I bought over the counter, supposed to be a 3-layered whatever, and I took
Apple one?
No, I took the whole one time.
Okay.
Won't never, ever, ever do that again. Never.
That's so I got a doctor's appointment later in the week. I'll complain to him and see if he comes up with something. A suggestion, perhaps, would be nice.
No, I don't know.
Warm milk. Ugh.
I don't think I could do that either. Ugh. Not unless it's hot chocolate. I can do hot chocolate, but I can't do warm milk. But
oh yeah, but the chocolate will keep you awake. So
right. There's your caffeine, so that's not going to do you any good. But it's some kind of 3-layered melatonin thing. I showed you the ingredients.
Okay, yeah.
I have no clue what it is. And now if I take a third of it, I'm okay. But then I think it was Friday night, I took the other 2/3. Oh my gosh. The whole next day, Saturday, useless. I mean, I felt awful. Awful. So this weekend, I didn't leave my house.
I just want something so I can rest, not so I can get up. I can sleep and get up feeling worse than I did when I didn't have any rest.
Exactly. Yes. But that's over the counter.
Gotta hit that window in between there, you know?
Right. Well, Kevin swears up and down I need a CPAP at night. Apparently he thinks I snore. I don't know what he's talking about.
The cats don't mind, huh? Or
they've never woke me up
Mama's purring, damn it.
Yeah. They've never woke me up going, hello, turn over, stop. But I don't know. We'll find out. The dirty edges. Well, you're a little late.
Yeah.
I'm surprised we don't have somebody in here named Cleveland Steamer or some kind of shit after that.
Well, we've made an hour and a half. And that was easier than I thought it was going to be when I started.
Well,
So
half an hour of it was me trying to find a freaking internet connection, and I had to do a hotspot.
Okay.
From the phone. Of course, I am a hotspot.
I got my rant off my chest. So let's see. Yeah.
For this week you have.
Yeah. I just can't stand cheaters, you know?
I just can't stand our government. Period.
Well, yeah. I mean, well,
all of it.
Quite a few cheaters there, you know?
Of course, if we tried to do a community, they'd burn us down like they did in Waco. So I don't know. Maybe Janet Reno's not.
Yeah.
So we'll
figure something out. We'll figure out a safe way to do it.
Right.
We'll make them think we're poor and stupid, and they'll leave us alone.
Oh, well, that's this county I live in. So we're good.
See there? That's the perfect place to be. As long as they think you're poor and stupid, they leave you alone.
That's right. They will. Good night, Lorraine. Glad you joined in with us.
Thank you very much.
Again.
So great to see you again every week. So to Lorraine and Goofy and Ron and Bobby and Marco and Andy and whoever else is there.
Right.
I hope you had a good time today. And glad to have you here. We enjoyed it. We had a good time. And Maria, as always, thank you very much for making this so much more pleasant than having me stand up here and rant and rave for an hour and a half. But no, never going to happen, Marco.
Oh, wait, I missed that. What? Charles
of my room.
Take us on a tour. Oh.
Never going to happen. Believe me. I'm in the process. I've got piles on piles of moving stuff around. It's soon going to be very much cleaner, very much more organized, because it's driving me totally fucking crazy.
Andy's latest. Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah.
That was somebody had. Oh, that was Oofy. Had a chai tea latte.
Oh, Lord.
Okay. I thought chai was just another word for tea. So it's a tea latte?
Is it chai or is it chi? What?
No, chai is tea.
Chai? Okay.
Okay. So.
They can have that because we have there, and there.
Yes. Or you, and you. Yes.
You, yours, yours, and yours.
You.
You, yours, and yours.
Yeah. Two.
Oh, yeah.
Two. Yeah.
Yeah.
Words, damn it.
All I'm going to do.
My words.
is pick up my laptop and like give you the turnaround of what's going on here. That's it.
Oh, hell yes.
Dead trees and all. You can see the dead trees.
Mm-hmm.
The ones that one of these days I'm gonna say, okay, I need my chainsaws back so I can cut all this
Excuse
shit
me, I'd like my chainsaw now.
Yeah. Yeah. The view is completely different back there than what it used to be. No more storms, no more nighttime storms. I'm done with this nighttime storm crap. So
I agree.
but thank you everybody for hanging out. Andy has sent something else.
Appreciated.
I'm kind of thinking I don't need to share it because it has this title to it.
Maybe we can make it. I knew Andy would catch that.
Yeah. Yep. Nope. Thank you, everybody.
Okay, we ready to call it a night?
Yeah, because they're over here in chat. They're complaining.
They're all fired up now. Okay.
Yeah, they're all fired up with 400,000 K. I don't know. Anyway.
Okay. Good night, folks. Good night, Maria.
Good night.